Hello students, welcome in Word of Oracle. In this session, we will discuss or we will see how to start the Oracle instance. You know what is Oracle instance, how it is started. Here Oracle instance is nothing but when memory structures, all background processes and physical storage structures are running together, then it is called as Oracle instance started, or you may call as a database instance started. When these three structures, all memory structure, that is HGA and PGA, all background processes and all database structures are running together, then it is referred as, or it is considered as, your instance is started successfully. Then how to start this instance? Let's see it practically, how to start instance. For that, there is a command, startup command, with the different modes. We will discuss, we will see uh, the instance startup practically. Now I am going towards the SQL environment. I am sharing this environment with you and going to implement the practically how to start the instance. Okay. Here is your SQL environment, right? One second. Here is your SQL environment. Open the SQL Plus in command line mode. Okay. Now, first of all, you must connect with the database as an admin, because only the admin have the privilege to start the instance and shut down the instance. Okay. Now, connect the database as an admin. SysDBA, connect as SysDBA, SystemDBA. SysDBA is a role that grants to start the instance and stop the instance. Okay, connect as SysDBA, use the username and password. Okay, now connected here with the database as a main admin, power admin. Okay, here your database instance is already started. For example, we are accessing the contents of your database. Select start from. I'm executing the query. Here, database is already started, instance is already started. Then how to start it? First of all, for that, we execute the command startup command. Here, startup command is used to start the instance. Here, DBA can start the instance in different modes. According to the requirement of task, whatever task DBA want to execute on database structures, according to that, DBA start the instance in different modes. Here, to start the instance, startup command is used with the different modes, that is no mount mode, open, restrict, and forcefully. Here, DBA can start the instance in no mount mode, open mode, restrict mode, and force mode. Okay. Now we will see how these modes are used with startup command. First of all, your database instance is started. Your database is open. So first of all, shut down it. For that, execute the command shut down. Shut down. As we are connected with the database as a SysDBA. That's why it allows to shut down the database. Here, database is shutting down. When it shut down, first of all, your database closes, then database dismounts, and then instance close. And when it starts, database instance starts first, then database mount, and then your database open. Okay, here database is shut down. Database shut down. Now start the instance in no mount mode. First of all, start the instance in no mount mode. Yeah, startup. Use for that the command startup. Use the option no mount. Here, no mount mode is used by the DBA when he want to create a new database script. He want to execute the database creation script depending upon the existing database parameters. At that time, DBA start the instance in a no mount mode. When he issue the command startup no mount, only instance starts. All memory structures loaded, database background processes activate, but database not mounted and database not opened. Only instance start. This option or this startup mode, instance startup mode is used by the DBA when DBA want to create a new database depending upon the existing database structures. Now your instance is in no mount mode. Instance started in no mount mode. At that time, if you are accessing something or you are connecting with a particular user, then it doesn't allow to connect it. For example, I am showing here, I am trying to connect HR user. Okay, here Oracle not allowed to connect the HR user. It display the error Oracle initialization or shutdown in progress, like that. Means your instance is started but database is not mounted and database not opened. That's why it doesn't allow to access the database. It doesn't allow to connect any user with a database because database is not mounted and database is not opened. Okay, now switch towards the startup mount option. For that, shut down the database. First of all, shut down your database, or you can use the alter database mount option to switch from no mount mode to mount mode. Okay. First of all, shut down the database. Here, the error is occurred. Why? Because we are not connected with the database as a sysdba. Because we are switching here from sysdba to HR, trying to switch from sysdba to HR. That's why this error is occur, because we are executing the command shutdown. For that, connect the database with sysdba, and after that execute the command sysdba. Okay, here connected with the database as a main admin. Now execute the command shutdown, and after that start the instance in mount. Okay, after shutting down the database, here database is not mounted, that's why this error occur and instance is shut down. Okay, now start the instance in mount mode, startup mount. Here, when instance is started in mount mode, instance starts and database mounted, but database does not open. Only instance started and database mounted. Database will be active, but not in processing mode, not in transactive mode. Why this option is used by the DBA? When DBA use the startup mount option, when you want to execute the physical storage level activities like adding the RAID log groups, moving the data files from one location to another location, or other recovery options, at that time DBA start the instance in mount mode. Okay, in this case, in mount mode, only instance starts and database mounts, but database doesn't open. That's why any user can't access the database in mount mode because database is not opened. When this option is used by the DBA, when he want to execute some physical level maintenance activity like moving the data files, adding the log groups, or some recovery options that DBA want to execute, at that time DBA start the Oracle instance in mount mode. Okay, now I am going towards the open mode, from mount to open mode. Here, now I am not shut down the database, I am altering the database. For that, I am executing the command alter database open. Here I am switching from mount mode to open mode. Here not startup command is used because without using the startup command, I am switching from startup mount to startup open mode. For that, the command is alter database. I am altering the database from mount to open mode. It will alter the database. It will start the instance. It will already instance is started. Database is mounted. Now with this command alter database open, your database will be opened. Now we are in open mode, in startup open mode. Now our database is in open mode. Open mode is for all user access. Any user, obviously authenticated user, can access the database in open mode. Here I am trying to access the database. Select star from tab. All the views are accessible. Okay. Here all the views are accessible, means database is opened. Here I am trying to connect with another user. It will allow to access the database, to connect the database. Okay. Okay. Here HR's account is locked, no problem. I am trying to connect with system user. System. Okay. Here it will allow to connect the another user. Means your database is in open mode. Open mode means your database instance starts, your database mount, and your database open. And this instance startup, open instance startup, is accessible to any authenticated users of database. Okay. Now I am switching from account system to sysdba, because you must shut down the database and move towards the restricted session. That's why I'm connecting with the database as again admin, because system doesn't have the permission to shut down the database. System user doesn't have the privilege to shut down and start up the database. That's why I am connecting with database as an admin sysdba, and then issue the command sys shut down and start the instance in restrict mode. Sysdba. Okay. Now shut down the command, shut down the database, and again start the instance in restrict mode. Okay. Up till now we saw the startup no mount, startup mount, startup open, and now we are going towards the startup restrict. Means we are trying to start the instance in a restricted mode. When this restricted mode is used by the DBA, when DBA want to perform some activity like user settings or other some activities regarding the backups, then he or she start the instance in restricted mode. Okay, let's start the instance in restricted mode. Issue the command startup restrict. Here restrict mode allows only to those users having the restricted permission. When you start the instance in a restricted mode, only those users can connect with the database having the restricted session grant. Other users can't connect with database. Here when restrict startup is there, when you start your instance with the restricted mode, instance starts, database mount, and database open, same as your open mode. But difference is that in open mode, all type of users, all type of authenticated users of database can connect with the database. But in restricted mode, only those users can connect with database who have a grant of restricted session, who are the grantee of restricted session. Database allows only those users. Okay, let's see. I'm trying here again connect HR. Okay, no problem. HR is locked. I unlock it. Again connecting as a sysdba. And unlocking that user. Okay. I'm altering the user, unlocking it. Alter user HR and unlocking its account unlock. Here account is unlocked, the user is altered. Now I'm trying to connect as a HR. Our session is in restrict mode. Remember that we are in restricted mode. Our instance is started in restricted mode. Now I'm connecting with the user as a HR user, normal user, general user. Okay. Here error is occurred because HR user doesn't have the permission of restricted session. That's why this error is occurred. Only the users with restricted session privilege is able to connect in restricted modes. As a HR is not a grantee of restricted session, that's why when HR is trying to connect with database, it will display the error. Okay. Now I am trying to connect with database with system user. It will allow system user because system user is a grantee of restricted session privilege. Okay, here it will allow the system to connect with database because system is a grantee of restricted session privilege. That's why he can connect with the database in restricted mode. Okay, when restricted mode is used by the DBA, when he want to perform some logical level maintenance activity, then he start the instance restricted mode. That's why only the admin level users having the permission of restricted session, having the grant of restricted session can access the database, and the general users are not able to connect with database. Okay. Now I am connecting with database as again sysdba. Okay. Okay. Shutting down the database. Last option is the force option. Here DBA must give the lowest priority to start the instance in force mode, because when your instance is not starting properly due to any reason, there is some issues regarding to start the instance easygoing, then DBA can use the option startup force to start the instance anyhow. When you want to start the instance anyhow, then you can issue the command startup force. Means you are starting the instance, Oracle instance, forcefully. That's why it is recommended that DBA must use the startup force at the lowest priority. Okay. Here I am stopping. In next session, we will discuss about the how to shut down the database with the different modes. Okay. Thank you.